It's Thursday, the 14th of May, and I am sitting here in front of Marigot, the French side of Saint Martin. Basically exactly the same place. We arrived on the 23rd of March. So that's 7 weeks ago. We arrived here because we had some repairs to do. In December last year, we had the trip from Belize to Cuba, which turned out to be pretty horrible. And let me just take you back to my first recording of that trip. So this is how I look after 91 hours of absolute terrible sailing. We leave on Thursday afternoon, and when we came out after already 2 or 3 hours, we realized that the seas were just terrible. It was like they were coming from everywhere, and it was raining. It was a little bit like if you would be sitting in a washing machine. Because of the waves, and it was short, the boat banged, it came up and then banged down. Then the wind wasn't from the north, but it was northeast from where we needed to go. The wind was not that terrible actually. Below 15 knots. And then on Friday afternoon, so let's say 24 hours after we left, we realized that we had some water coming in on the starboard daggerboard, the connection between the daggerboard case and the floor. We first tried to put some bitumen and some pressure and towels, and then it became more. I mean, this is running in. So then Fabio made a kind of a patch that we put that on. So after more or less we had repaired this crack on Friday afternoon. We got a major squall. Never seen anything like it. The wind meter gave us 70 knots. And perhaps therefore the mainsail has delaminated in the back. 24 hours later, when there were 2 other gaps appearing, we realized let's try to pull up the daggerboard. So at that moment there we had 1 daggerboard left. So that was Friday afternoon, evening. Then and then on Saturday afternoon we looked at the other daggerboard, and it had fallen down. It was Saturday night, and we were on a starboard tack. I needed to tack. The wind changed to 30 degrees, so I thought, let me tack. So I tried to go on a port tack, and the boat didn't react. And I heard kind of bang, bang, bang. Now we've heard lots of different bangs for the last 2 days, but this one was more a solid one. So I shouted at Fabio, and he went up there at night to check the daggerboard, and then unfortunately it was broken. So it was the part underwater that was still attached to the outer skin, and that was banging onto the hull. So we managed to get the boat working again in Cayo Largo, and then we saw the south coast of Cuba. We went up to Bahamas for 2 months, and in that period we were trying to figure out what to do, where to do it, and all this while having an excellent communication with our insurance. Thank you very much, Frank. Sometimes it is just nice that one can rely on somebody for expert information and extremely good feedback. And it was when we were in Bahamas that finally everything fell into place. It proved extremely difficult to get a new daggerboard made here in the Caribbean. It's a rather complicated process. Apparently, we did not think it was that complicated. I mean, you need some carbon fiber, you need foam, you need some wood. You need to know the technique of vacuum bagging with epoxy, and there were very few people who were actually willing to do that. Now, the best option was for us to go to Saint Martin and get it done there. Now, Saint Martin, of course, that we knew from a year ago, because we had stayed here already for I think 6-7 weeks to repair all the cracks in the bulkheads. That's why we thought it's a plan. We know St. Martin, the company BDZ of Gabriel seemed to be able to do a good job. The insurance guy was convinced, so that's why we left Bahamas the middle of March. Then arriving here, that was then the very first thing that had to be done, the daggerboard. Trial number 2, after they cut off the edge. And look, perfetto! Now it was actually this daggerboard that had broken, but this daggerboard case was leaking. So in Cayo Largo we took this daggerboard and we moved it to the case that was still in one piece, which means that that's the old daggerboard and that's a new daggerboard made by Gabriel. And this is our new daggerboard case, or let me say the repaired daggerboard case. And since the water level outside is actually here, the boat actually has to get out of the water, and we did that in Philipsburg on the south coast of St. Martin. They opened it up, repaired the inside, laminated the outside, closed it off and repainted it. The only thing we still have to do is to do something on the floor, paint it again, but we also still have to finish, fair and paint all the lamination that we did last year. The reason that we haven't done it is of course because first of all we didn't feel like it, but also because we thought that like this perhaps we can better check it and to see whether it is indeed holding, and knock on wood, we haven't seen anything happening to the repairs that we did last year. Now there were 3 things that broke during this trip from Belize to Cuba. The daggerboard case, and number 3, our mainsail. The mainsail is actually a laminate mainsail that on either side is protected by this taffeta, and that has just come off on the top and also in the back where reef number 1 is, which is the reef we had. So that's why we are still here. We are waiting for the mainsail that should be coming from South Africa a couple of days time. So one of the things we did here was take the measurements of the mainsail. We sent them off to South Africa, and in a few days time the new mainsail should arrive by airplane to St. Martin. Now as soon as that comes, we are going to get back on the water again and point towards Aruba to get the boat hauled out for the summer season.